All right. Hi, hello to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. All sorts of things involving indie tabletop role-playing games, stuff like blogs, forums. There's also the zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which puts out supplements to existing games or original games in itself. I don't know why I'm waving this honey candy on my hand. I'm gonna drop that. There's also the podcasting network that the Gauntlet puts out. Lots of shows based on usually talking about games that are being played here on the Gauntlet, or there's also Plus One Forward, which is dedicated Power Play Apocalypse podcast, and Fear of the Black Dragon, which is all about looking through different dungeon modules or gaming modules and whatnot. It's really neat. That's all to the link down below for Gauntlet-RPG. .com. But the most important part, at least in my eyes, in terms of actually playing these games, is the Hangouts calendar, which this game and every other game has been arranged. I picked it up again. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I've got a craving. This game in particular is our. I've lost count. I think this is the sixth session. Yes. Blades in the Dark. For those who don't know, Blades in the Dark is a game by John Harper, all about thieves, scoundrels, ne'er-do-wells trying to climb over each other in an industrial fantasy city. But we're using Sean Nittner's Vigilantes playset, which inverts that and turns our would-be crew of scoundrels into a would-be crew of do-gooders, crime fighters, getting down in the streets, protecting communities, giving villains what for. I've always wanted to know what for means. It's brilliantly evocative of a certain time, which is that pulp action, two-fisted vigilante style of a sort, which is what we're going for. Anyone who wants to check out Blades in the Dark or the Vigilantes playset, there'll be a link down below as always. Let's go ahead and kind of just introduce who are these ne'er-do-well. Oh, not ne'er-do-wells. The opposite of ne'er-do-wells. Our heroes of the street. Let's go on the order of the Roll20 from bottom to top this time. Just to spare Will having to go again. So Dan, welcoming you back. Just introduce yourself, pronounce what you use, and tell us what your character and the cool thing they did last time.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm from Zagreb, Croatia. I'm quite new to the Gauntlet, but I'm enjoying it very much, playing on the Gauntlet. And my character is Ronnie, and the cool thing that she did was she wrapped a chain around the legs of a hull, and with that she threw it to the ground, and it crashed. Killed it in a way.
Yeah. Dressed as a clown as well.
Yes. Clown / juggler. It was on a fair in Char Hollow.
Also doing a fantastic job juggling. Things that were on fire. I remember this because you threw one of them at the hall.
Yes, those are some torches. Yes, I didn't catch fire, and that was also good. Probably because I didn't have to roll for it.
Oh yeah, true. It was an assist. It just works. Cool. So hopefully we'll see more of Amrani's more subtle side today. But then again,
I hope.
Yeah, hopefully. Then again, we're at war, so who knows? Let's see. Up next, Bean. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your character and the cool things they did?
Hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm from Germany. I've been with the Gauntlet for, I think, 2 years now, and I still like it. So I think it's a keeper. And I will be playing Dr. Silas Ravenglass, also known as the Raven Doctor. He is a whisperer. He fancies himself to be quite the intellectual and the academic, kind of like he's the brains of everything. He has a going on rivalry with an ancient vampire. I don't think he really realizes that Scarlock is an ancient vampire, but he deems this guy to be his intellectual inferior anyway. Last session, he jumped down a building and did the classic superhero landing with a roiling black cape, armored in symbols and glyphs and stuff like that, and thumping down his lightning ghost rod thing that he has and that he uses to occasionally maybe hit things with, but usually just uses it to impress people or ghosts.
Yeah, it's been impressive so far. Absolutely. It's worked really well, and apparently we will be acquiring some Raven friends for the good doctor. We'll see. And last but not the least, kind of like the person responsible for bringing this whole run together. Will, tell us about yourself and your
Well,
character.
Leandro, that is definitely you for actually running the game rather than me just going, oh, I'd love to play this. But yes, I'm playing. My name is Will, pronouns he, him. I'm over here in Manchester and UK, not Alabama. And I'm playing Solomon Reigns, aka Redcoat, the notorious vigilante who stalks the streets of Duskwall wearing a red cloak. A red version of the blue coat uniform. And yeah, Solomon is a two-fisted warrior for justice in every sense of the word.
Hell yeah. Doing a damn good job so far. No, none of these mechanical, ghostly Iron Man hulls have stood up to you, for sure. That says a lot about your fortitude and also kind of the quality.
Yes, it's the hammers of justice. You know, they break down all crime.
Hell yeah. And hopefully there's more crime to break down. I should introduce myself as well. Hi, my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns. I'm fan of running Forge in the Dark games, apparently. This Blades is like one of 9 different hacks that I've ran in the past year. And I'm not to say tired, but it's getting to me. That like, oh, there's a lot of relearning. Oh, then again, that's par for the course. Why should I be complaining? It is what it is, so to speak. Okay, so before we kind of like jump in, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we are using for this game. I've mentioned this every time we played, but it's always worth mentioning again. I'll mention to folks our slew of lines and veils down at the bottom of the Roll20. There's also, I just noticed there's a hand up for standard items, which is like I forgot I put that there. And then if you look in the character sheet, it's actually already there. If you click on the arrows next to your standard items, actually, so me putting that hand up there was pointless. All right, so lines are. So speaking of going back to lines and veils, lines are things that like won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. It's just no go. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but then we're not gonna like linger on them. You know, it gets like a mention, maybe 2 sentences, or it happens off screen. We're not gonna like concentrate on it. We're just gonna like pass on. It's a living document as well, and if it's updated, feel free to like mention it in the chat or message myself, and I'll just mention that Lines of Veils has been updated. But yeah, if you can't think of anything you might want to add now, that's something we can revisit later. We're also using script change for this game. Basically, script change is like a bunch of tools that kind of lets us like modulate play when we need to. It's a set of commands. If you've used a remote controller on a VHS DVD, do people still have DVD players? I actually don't know.
Yeah, they do. Old-fashioned people do.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm beginning to join the ranks. God. So I'll mention 3 commands that's kind of like important to script change. At least the commands will be kind of like having. There's rewind. When you want to rewind, you back up to a specific point in the scene and do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. And it could be any issue. It could be like a name or just the tone of the scene or even just like the scene itself. And you don't have to explain what your issue is. I might ask some questions on what the issue is, but we'll respect if anyone calls for a rewind. We'll just like acknowledge that. We'll roll back and try something else. There's also fast forward, which is basically If you need to fade to black in advance time as needed to avoid content elements of play, you fast forward or just move forward in time. It's kind of like restating what we want with want to do with veils. Basically, if a thing happens that's something we don't need to linger on, like well, I hesitate to provide any examples, but I think you can think of like stuff we wouldn't want to linger on. You can call for a fast forward, and yeah, we'll just move on with fiction. And lastly, there is pause. You can call for pause if you need to break from an intense scene to either for any number of reasons. Either because it's an intense scene and you need to whoa, we need to calm down or at least pause, take a breath. Or if you need to take a bio break at any time, and we can call that or there's emergency you need to take care of. I'm now swinging dice, which is more appropriate than honey candy, I suppose. Or even if you want some clarity or a discussion about the game or content, like say, hey, wait, why are we doing this? Or hey, wait, why is that person doing that? Or hey, wait, what are the ramifications of ghosts in this setting? And if we need to figure that out, we'll figure that out for sure. And yeah, and anyone can call pause at any time, especially if it's an emergency you need to take care of. And finally, once we kind of like figure out what we want to do with those commands, we can call for a resume and we can go back to standard play. So speaking of standard play, y'all completed a score last time, or I guess the Vigilantes equivalent of a score, which is not really a score. Before we get into payoff and whatnot, I do want to talk, because we were talking before broadcast about this expert y'all picked up with your crew and fans, and we were in the middle of defining them when I was like, oh wait, we should record this. So y'all have decided to because in Vigilantes there are no cohorts, no one has any like gangs that are that work for them. Instead they have experts, helpful friends, your folks who your Jim Gordons, your Alfreds. We already have an Alfred, but we are adding a Lucius Fox. Trying to think of other gadget here, like archetypes. Your
M, like James Bond.
You mean Q?
Q, yeah, whatever. I forget these.
Yeah. That's a good call. Q's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so we have decided to go for expert for the Vigilantes, a Dr. Lucia Fox, and we've described as an intellectual rival to the Raven Doctor because all doctors are apparently. So we also decided they are a crafter, which I should write down somewhere here. There we go, crafter. Which means that they're good at building gadgets, so to speak. Now we need to pick like edges and flaws. When you create an expert, give them 1 or 2 edges and an equal number of flaws. Edges are kind of like what they're good at, what qualities, what kind of like and gives them some basically describe them as buffs or passives. Here's the 4 list of edges, and you can pick 1 or 2, but you have to give an equal number of flaws. So do we want Dr. Fox to be subtle, which means this expert is easily overlooked or disregarded? Independent, the expert can be trusted to make good decisions and act on their own initiative in the absence of direct orders. Loyal, the expert can't be bribed or turned against you. Or tenacious, the expert won't be deterred from a task. So those are kind of like your 4 options, and you can pick 1 or 2 of them. Let me see, copy paste them in there.
I like independent.
I like independent as well. The 2 I was thinking of were perhaps independent and loyal, but it was independent above loyal.
Yeah, I agree. Independent is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the same thing. Yeah.
If no one wants to go for loyal, so I think we might just stick with independent. Because I do want to ask fictionally how you came to employ, or at least came to know this person. But let's pick their flaw first. Or
we can just look at the flaws, and if we find 2 flaws we want to have, she can still be loyal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, flaws don't cancel out the edges.
I'm almost tempted with vindictive, as in that they are out for revenge against somebody to strike back at the people. The principled is obviously the obvious one because
I like threatened.
threatened. They're
Threatened
on
is
the run
also
from
cool,
someone.
yeah.
Yeah. Should we do that? Threatened them? I'm up for
Yeah.
that.
But I like Vindictive too. It's really it's good to
it's-
have a
Okay, yeah, sure.
an NPC that can gather some problems
Well,
Oh, yeah.
by
why don't we
themselves.
add we can add loyal to the other edge, so you can have 2 flaws.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
threatened and
Threatened.
vindictive.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, cool.
Perhaps vindictive against the people who are threatening them.
That would make sense. Like that.
Okay, so actually, what we'll do is, so we have our expert, and explain kind of like what they do. Actually, I should explain it now, just for everyone.
Yeah.
When you send an expert to achieve a goal, which is usually, either they're part of a score or in free play, which is kind of like the weird hinterland between Downtime and mission. When you send them to achieve a goal, you roll their quality to see how it goes. Or a PC can oversee the maneuver by leading a group action. So like if you direct the expert with orders, you roll command, and that command will kind of like tell us how they did their job. It's kind of like mainly how you use experts. You do have a special ability that gets one of your experts or contacts to do a downtime action to acquire asset, reduce heat, or recover. So that's pretty good. And yeah, so they can be helpful as well with certain long-term projects, which is pretty good. Okay, so before we kind of like delve into how they got in touch. Actually, you know what? Let's do that now. That's more interesting than the payoff, which we'll get to. That's also interesting, but I guess I do want to like turn to the Twilight Patrol. We kind of made a very big splash at the fair. How did this doctor kind of like get in touch, and or did you get in touch with her? I guess is my question. Or did she get in touch with you? It seems more like she'd get in touch with you.
I mean, my first instinct was like that. We saved her in one of these off-screen like individual adventures. One of us saved her from something that's threatening her. Be it corrupt bluecoats or some sort of spectral revenge spirit sent after it, or perhaps it was her designs that the Dimmer sisters have stolen the entire time, and they're cheap knockoffs of her whole designs.
I do like kind of maybe combining aspects of that. I do like the idea of her being saved, and instead of like being grateful, she's criticizing the hook that the Raven Doctor has. And it's just,
Excuse me?
look, I'm just saying, this barb style, it's pre-17th century. Studies have shown that a current theory crafting happening on the Spirit Wardens means that you should go for more elegant kinds of hooks. This is crude. This is like, who welded this together? Like the joints on this, they're
My
practically.
dear Dr. Fox, might I inform you that I have wielded this to great effect, and in actuality, current research shows that the elegance of a design is often just for show, and I'm not a showman.
She looks up at the roof you jumped off of, or I don't know. Well, far be it for me to criticize a tenured showman, Mr. Raven Doctor, sir. It's just that if I were to accompany you in one of your race, why I could clearly tell whether you're getting great effect or not, I can assure you that you can get better.
Prove it.
And then, yeah, I guess, the makings of a beautiful friendship. Okay, all right. So that's Dr. Fox sorted. She probably doesn't live in the clock tower, but in Shar Hollow. You're defeating. Wait, does your clock tower have quarters? Yes, it does. So people can live there. We have a few people stashed there actually. We'll get to those when we get into downtime. But let's do payoff first, and then I kind of want to ask what each of you have been doing after the big fair, and then that will segue into downtime. So I mentioned that I've already kind of calculated them, so I'm just going to go through them for the sake of everyone knowing how I got to those calculations. After a score, the PCs take stock of rewards, income from the operation. For Vigilantes, the standard payoff is inverted. The primary reward is rep. The coin is still acquired as it's a necessary evil. The crew earns 1 coin per tier of the target. If you walked away without taking anything for yourselves, you earn 0 coin. The crows were tier 2. It says tier 1 now. That's because they're at war, but they weren't at war when they did that score. So they were tier 2. So you have 2 coin that's kind of like just free floating, and you've already run out of room in your base. So coin has to go to one of you 3, or the 2 coin, or one of any of those coin. Go to any of you.
Can I hold on to them just because I'm just going to jump all my coin back into the group, basically. Like I just want to spend my coin to raise our tier so that we can be tier 1 vigilantes.
Yeah, it takes a while to get up the tier. I'm in a Blades campaign. It took us like 6 sessions to go up a tier.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, 6 sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, just about. Yeah. Who wants to take a coin?
That's fine with me. Go ahead and then increase our tier, whatever shenanigans you have
Cool.
to.
So I get 2 coin then, Leandro.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So that means that in theory I have 3.
Yes.
If I convert mine from the stash.
Yeah. If you take out your stash, you have 4 coin as well in your base, which is nice. You want to spend your 3 coin.
So we could actually go up tier today. Right now. The question is whether you want to or do we need 1 more coin? No, I would need Sabine's or
how many coins do we need to go up a tier?
It's the number of tier, the current tier you're in plus 8.
So we need 8.
So we need 8. So do I have a coin? I don't know.
You have 2. You have 2 stash, which can be converted to 1 coin.
Okay.
I have 2 stash too. Yes.
Oh yeah, I added those in because whenever you advance in crew, everyone gets 2 stash.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, sure. I will convert my stash to coin and then pay it for this thing.
Cool.
Seems like a good idea.
The only thing is, as Leandro says, is that this will mean that we will only get 1 downtime action because we will also spend all of our rep.
Okay.
Yes, that's the thing.
Which I am okay with. I don't know how many downtime actions we need, really, to be honest.
I need downtime actions to do my ritual thing, but yeah, sure. That's okay.
No, actually, because you took that ritual special ability, you come with 1 ritual already prepared, already learned. That could be your raven thing. So you don't need to
learned, but you have to perform it, right? I wasn't entirely clear.
I might be conflating this with the crafting.
Because it's you have finding a ritual, learning a ritual, and then you have performing a ritual. But I think I've learned 1.
Yes.
But I haven't performed it yet.
Yes. So yeah.
That's how I would read it. So.
Okay, so you want to perform it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sounds nice, doesn't it?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm down for that then. But yeah,
that will be my downtime action. But I'm cool with just having the 1 and then going to war against these.
Can we still use coin for that? Because I have 2 stash that I can give. I didn't give anything to the crew. So if someone needs to make 1 more, because I'm a new character, so I don't need a lot of.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can keep hold of that stash, and that can be Amrani's little. Whenever she pops back into the story, I'll have 2 coins to spend. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like we're all good. Should we tier up them? Would that be cool? Like, let's do it, and then basically, we'll come in even stronger.
Can someone clue me into what that means.
Basically, the overall quality of your crew kind of goes up. That means that you're better able to stand up against higher tier enemies.
Okay.
So because if you're up against a tier 3 and you're tier 0, I was like, you're barely gonna get above limited effect on them, But now that you're
Okay.
tier 1, you'd have less less
Okay.
rungs to climb.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
we will dominate the crows when we go, or at least we will be, because they will be on weak and we'll be on strong, kind of stuff. Like,
Yes, well, that goes without saying against these crows, right?
cool. So yeah, I will get rid of the coins on my sheet and my stash, and we will go up a tier thanks to our daring defense of daring daylight defense of Char Hollow.
That's the
No,
in quotes
daring daylight
there.
defense of Dogtown denizens.
Nice. I was trying to think of like what's a D word that means affair or whatnot. And I thought derby. It's like that's not it. That's that's a different thing. All right. So let me read what happens when you go up in tier. Because it's always good to have that happen. Using claim development. Yes. So you need 12 rec to fill it up. If your hold is strong, you can pay to increase your tier by 1. This costs coin equal to your new tier times 8. So that's 8. As long as your rep tracker is full, you don't earn your rep. Once you pay and increase your tier, reset your rep to 0 and reduce your hold to weak. But your tier is up by 1. So I'm going to do that. But you're not tier 1. And I think that kind of translates to, the people of Char Hollow, they now kind of know they've got this force that's like protecting them. They already knew, now kind of like the opening of Mulan, now the rest of Duskwall knows you're here.
Yeah,
Not all of Duskwall.
I like the idea of this being our reputation starting to spread beyond just like Hell's Kitchen, like it's the city sort of now starts to take notice of the Twilight Patrol.
Yeah. That does mean that you lose the rep that I added in there that you gained from that score. Which you got quite a bit of rep. It was like retribution for a major score was 6 rep. Citizens Avenged. It's pretty good. But that's all gone now. Heat though, this was definitely loud and chaotic, high exposure. It was 4 heat, and I added no, it was just 4 heat, but that was enough to tip you over wanted level though. So you're now wanted level 1. What that means is wanted level means that if you get caught and put in prison, you're going to be there for a bit longer. Level 4, they just kill you if you go to wanted level 4. Yeah, and also determines how many dice I roll for entanglements. At low heat wanted level 1. I said I rolled entanglements, but I actually forgot what I rolled, so I'm just gonna roll again. If that's okay. It was probably something really bad. Heat also determines what table in the Vigilantes PDF I'm rolling for, so I'm just gonna do this. 6. 6 is fingered for a crime. You are the target of an investigation. Convince the Bluecoats they've got the wrong suspect or take +2 heat as they pursue you. So I think this is absolutely Grace sending her goons out to Char Hollow. And there's like more intensified questioning about who is the Twilight Patrol? Who is this red coat? Red coat, is giving a bad giving us Bluecoats a bad name. So I think convincing them they've got the wrong suspect is going to be its own thing for sure. Or you can take +2 heat.
What would that be, a downtime action then, convincing that it's somebody else, perhaps?
It could be. It could be it could be a long-term project for sure, or it could be like an entire score of like. But then they'll be going to war. Well, who knows?
I'm happy to take 2 heat, to be perfectly honest. How about you, Sabine?
I don't mind it. We have some kind of thing that says routes during downtime. One of our contacts or cohorts may take a downtime action to acquire an asset to reduce heat. So we might use that to offset the whole questioning thing.
Yes.
What do you think, Amrani?
Yes, I think we can take 2 heat. Yeah.
2 heat's grand. referencing my other Blades campaign, we are now at 3 wanted levels. Don't let that happen. It's not great. What happened was we finished up a war with the billhooks. We rolled a bad entanglement and went to another war straight afterwards. It was because they came after our cafe, and our spider had made a ghost contract to never let that cafe go. So we had to go to war again, back-to-back wars. It's not a good look. Okay, so just a word of warning: don't let heat get up there. Okay, so before we get to downtime proper, I want to get like a shot of what each of you have been doing after the fair, and this could be like indeterminate number of days. Could be what you were doing as in characters you're interacting. Also, bear in mind that the crows are at war with yourselves. So if you want to like filter in like how the crows trying to like intrude, even though they got resoundingly beaten back across the bridge, they've still got a bite in them. But yeah, I'll give you a moment to like think of what shot do we see of your characters.
A squad of bluecoats being paid off by crows as they come into Char Hollow, and they have Molotov cocktails and things ready to burn down a building. And then Redcoat steps out from the shop door, just opens up, and the bell rings, and Redcoat steps out. Deals out his own brand of justice again.
Hell yeah. I'll say as well, all these like things where I call for stuff, feel free to like, go for your XP triggers. I'm gonna be generous. If you describe something, I'll go for XP trigger. I'll give it to you. So I'm giving you that opportunity.
I think what we see of Silas is he's with his sister and their family, and he is being told the story of what the Twilight Patrol did, and his nephew Jeremiah gives him always this funny look, like, wasn't that you? Wasn't that you? And he will then start to tell the people what the hulls are, and not the people, the kids, and explain to them in quite a professorial manner what the hulls actually are, what a hull is, how the energy gets into them, and why these kids should be very, very wary of them. And then one of the kids asks, right, how did these crows get a hull? And then he pauses and thinks, yeah, that's a good question, actually. And that's the end of the scene.
Well, I'm Ronnie. I'm thinking she's not yet a full member of the Twilight Patrol, but she's keeping in touch, and she's still living in Crow's Foot, and this is extremely dangerous because the crows are there, and she wants to lay low as much as she can. So she's probably for quick money doing a side job by working as a croupier in a casino in Silk Shore, just to stay away from trouble for a while until something comes up, and of course disguised as someone else, just so that no one can recognize her for a while.
Of course. Just blow off some steam.
Yeah.
So, speaking of blowing off some steam, we are now entered downtime. So, Vigilantes have all the normal downtime options that standard crews do, and only receive one action while at war, as usual. Remember also that Vigilantes can spend coin or rep. Well, there's no rep to spend. Oops. Some of the actions they might take to work with the communities they protect include, training by studying your enemies, reduce heat by turning criminals over to blue coats, and as always, there's like the new option to work a side job. The list of downtime actions, they're at the very left of the Char Hollow map. The way I've kind of figured out how this works is like, downtime can be interspersed with, free play actions, like, you off going off into Crow's Foot and picking a fight with people. That could go into like, action roll, stress and whatnot. Downtime activities, you only get, well, usually 2, but 1. But those things are kind of like, sacrosanct. you do it, and it won't cause any more fuss.
Is that a roots one where it says during downtime one of your contacts or cohorts may take a downtime action? Is
Yeah.
that one of our downtime actions? Like-
No, what I'm assuming is that like once per downtime, you can use this ability to get someone else, a cohort or a contact, to do a downtime action, but just that once. It's not. I don't think it means you have two contacts. That means you get two downtime actions. No, I think you can get one of your contacts to do a downtime action, but it won't be one of yours.
Okay.
So essentially, you have one free downtime action.
Cool. Well, then I think we will definitely take that roots option, right? To get one of our contacts or cohorts to help keep that heat a bit down.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my idea as well.
Yeah.
So which one?
What was our cohorts? I think maybe the Abbess
Yeah.
makes more sense than the Restless Ghost, right?
Yes, definitely. I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, to explain for Dan.
And she's a PR lady anyway.
Yeah. The Abyss is like this PR lady for this Weeping Lady charity that one of her characters in conjunction with another character helps set up. Basically how we got that publicity claim over there. And yeah, I think she can. I think we probably get a shot of then the.
Maybe they give like an ink rate interview where like the Bluecoats come around and Bluecoats are pinning a crime, like the fight on the Twilight Patrol. They're saying that it was all the Twilight Patrol like causing trouble. They brought a hull, it got out of control, etc. And then we have the ink rakes publishing the full story from this uppity muckety Abbess person giving the whole like, no, the Twilight Patrol were heroes. They were there to save the people of Char Hollow. Those poor blighted denizens of Duskwall's dark spaces.
Dark space. All right. So to actually reduce heat, someone will have to make a fortune roll for the Abyss. I'm gonna say her tier. The way fortune rolls work is usually roll their tier. Her tier is the same as yours. So I'm gonna ask one of you to roll a die. Just a fortune roll. I think there's a button for. Since you describe it well, you can roll that.
Okie dokie.
There's a button.
So how many dice is it?
Just a one.
Just the one.
Two.
Oh, great.
That produces heat by one. So I
reduces heat by one.
Yes. So I think like the newspaper, or at least the ink rakes, are like sent who want to help you. They want to make the interview like an important part of the whatever Duskwall Herald is going to come out, but I think it gets like it gets sidelined to the lifestyle section for sure because it gets sidelined because there's a massive news story suddenly happening, a big profile on this like mysterious mysterious menace. Yeah. Well,
I've got you started on it now, haven't I? The whole alliteration and
yeah. Someone say this menace is a phantom. In and yeah, I think it's just it's this big plastered. Yeah, I think I'm not actually sure even what the mysterious menace is. I just know that this big news story has pushed back the interview with the Abyss. It's there, reduces one heat, but more important things are happening in Duskwall. Way more important things, sadly. So that's your free downtime action for one of your contacts done. Each of you gets one because it's war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again, y'all. So yeah, what downtime action y'all want to do?
I'll go last, just so I can finish sorting my dinner out.
Okay.
I would like to perform my ritual because I found it and now I want to see what it does. No, I know what it does, obviously, but I want to want to perform this eldritch art of sorcery.
Okay, so before
People
we
say it's pure superstition, but which is not. I'm sorry. The Raven Doctor is very verbose.
yeah, you'd think in a city where ghosts are a regular thing, they will not seek to dismiss your powers. All right, so before we perform the ritual, let's actually define it. If
Yes.
that's okay with you. So,
Mhm.
ritual questions.
Totally.
I'm gonna ask you, what does
Yeah.
the ritual do, and how is it weird?
Well, what it does is I think it connects on a conspiracy of ravens to the Ravens Doctor's consciousness. So he can call on them to use them to intimidate people and maybe get glimpses through their eyes. And I think it is pretty weird because these ravens show up at his doorstep at all hours. And sometimes you can't even see where they're actually coming from. They're suddenly in the room. And then they say, nevermore. No, probably not. But
It's like those seagulls from Finding Nemo, except all they say is nevermore instead of mine. Yeah. Do you mind if you write that down in your notes? In the character sheet?
yes, of course.
Because that's really cool. So the next is a question from you. I'm gonna put that into chat. Hold on, let me put down this book.
The question I ask, what's the minimum quality level of this item, this thing?
Oh no, that's for crafting. That's for making stuff. This is a ritual. The page before.
Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong page. Sorry. Yeah, what must I do to perform the ritual, and what is its price?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the book says ritual takes at least one downtime activity to perform, inflicts stress on the caster according to its magnitude. If performance of the ritual is dangerous or troublesome in some way, it requires an action roll, usually attune. Ritual may have additional costs such as a sacrifice, rare item, the start of a dire progress clock. Yeah, I think the cost is going to be the start of a dire progress clock. Fictionally, I think what this costs you is to perform this ritual. I think you need a tall space high above. Thankfully, we're in a clock tower, so that's useful. A space high above, and this is tricky because sometimes you need to be clever. You need to spend a downtime action to prepare this incense, which will kind of like attract the wills of these ravens that you're kind of like binding to yourself, and you're not sure whether these ravens are regular ravens you find in Duskwall or something a bit more. But yeah, I think it's an incense of ash and feathers and eggs and other kind of bird stuff for sure. And you need the smoke to be up there and to breathe it in and breathe it out into the smoke as you're kind of like trying to draw this gestalt, this conspiracy to you and bind it to you. And let's see. And I would say, whenever you cast this ritual, it's going to start a dire progress clock that's going to be reduced by, I think it's going to be a 6-tick clock just to be nice. Actually, no. Yes. 6-tick clock, and it just says attention because you're not as great as you are as a magical practitioner. You're not the only magical practitioner in the city. I think they'll notice when you're kind of binding all these ravens to you. And this dire progress clock, which is going to be reduced by 1 tick for every downtime you don't do this ritual. But if you keep doing it, if you do it, a possible consequence is filling up this clock and someone getting access to your conspiracy. Is that okay?
Yeah. I'm trying to make the appropriate notes.
Yeah, no worries. It's a lot that just came off the top of my head. I'll give you a moment to write that all down.
Oh, I've done it.
Cool. So, the last thing I ask is, What new belief or fear does knowledge of this ritual and its attendant occult forces instill in you?
Okay. I think there is something to be said for the viewpoint. I mean, we've been always high up, but flying with those ravens, and this is a conspiracy of ravens, and you start seeing connections that might be there or might not be there when you're in the air. Sometimes some houses have weird shingles. They are not on every house, but some have it, and it's unclear if that's a symbol or if it's just a mason with a funny sense of humor, or if it's a curse.
That means our gather information rolls are gonna be sick.
Uh-huh. That was the purpose, yeah.
Yeah. So, given we spent some time detailing this ritual, is it okay if we cut to another character and we cut back to you performing it?
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So let's cut to Ronnie. What's a downtime action you want to do?
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is a great idea, but since we're at war with the crows, I'm thinking of maybe contacting my good friend Buzz and ask him for. I think this could be the acquire asset, the downtime action, just to ask for kind of a help by his men, if needed, and we're probably going to need it if we're at war with the crows. So I'm not sure if I have to define it what it is exactly.
Yeah, I guess you do have to define the help a bit. So let me read out like what examples for acquire asset is.
Yeah, okay.
So you gain temporary use of an asset, for which could mean either one special item or a set of common items enough for a gang of your tier scale. So say you want a I was gonna say flamethrower, but that's ridiculous. You want a repeating crossbow, and you can't make one at the moment. You can just acquire an asset, or you can acquire a cohort, which is either an expert or a gang.
Yes.
That seems.
Yeah,
like
I was thinking
that
would be the best idea to have just ask Basso to just give me some of his men to just like a gang, yeah, because they are basically thugs. So there's not a lot of us right now, so we could use some some force.
Can we play out this interaction a bit?
Yeah, sure, of course.
You think we're back to the cafe, unless you want to meet somewhere else?
No, it's good. It's the good place. That's where we always meet.
Okay. Let me double check something. What is the map last year? Okay. Yeah. So I think he's already halfway into his eel cake, and he hears your offer, and he's just like, No, I'm Ronnie. Didn't you just get out of a debt of mine?
Yes, I did, but we're good friends, and I can't escape from my past so easily. So, well, this is just one more, one more time, and maybe you can give me some help, and then I may be able to repay you later. But I think this is in your interest also, because it concerns fighting the crows, and this is what you want too, right?
He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a newspaper. You see, it's folded to, when he sprays out on the table, it's folded to the interview with the abbess, and he's like, "You're telling me, I'm Ronnie, that you find yourself looking out for these folks."
Well, I can't really tell you what happened, but I trust that you can trust me when I say that it's I'm doing some good things now, and I want to go on doing good things, right? That's all that matters to me, okay? Because I want the future to be brighter, right? So I did some good things. I'm not ashamed of what I did, but I can't tell you the details. But you know, you can draw your own conclusions.
Walk around Duskwall. I'm running. You find everyone's got something rattling in their closet.
Unfortunately, yes. And you are still rattling in my closet.
I do say your closet is awfully roomy. All right, let's make this roll. Acquire asset. So, the acquire asset, you're going to roll the cruise tier. The result indicates the quality of the asset you get. GM may set a minimum quality level. I'm not going to do that because I think what you'll get is probably, if this roll goes well, it'll probably a cohort of your tier.
Okay.
Or a gang of your tier. So just roll 1. It's the fortune roll.
Okay, so I click on the tier. I can do this, yes?
Oh, did you do that?
I think, yes. With no bonus dice.
Oh,
so
yeah, you can just do that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
So on a 6, you get a tier +1. So you get a tier 2 group, an entire tier higher than yourselves and the crows at the moment, which is great. So I think I think he kind of like laughs and he wipes the bit of eel gunk on his on his chin and he says, "Well, as much as I'm enjoying this altruistic Ronnie, don't take that for your hero name." Sorry, I'm just waving this bubble fan for now. I'm going to keep waving it. It's for effect. As much as I'm enjoying this altruistic Ronnie I'm getting, well, you're not wrong. The crows, they made their big play. They failed, and there's word that they're on their last legs. And if you and your masked super friends could knock them down for the count out, so to speak, well, it would be very beneficial to myself. So I'm going to make sure that it does happen.
Thank you. I'm thinking I'll have to repay you for this another time, but I hope it's worth it. I think you're a good man down below, Basso.
Oh, well, if one such as you says that, well, clearly I'm off to, well, not best things, but good things, right? Cool. So, you get a gang. I'm gonna call them. Let's see. I think it's not exactly it kind of is personal. Actually, it's a gang that has shown up in this series before. Way back in session 1.
The Lampblacks?
Yes, a group of Lampblacks. Led by, oh God, what was her name? Was it Bretta? I think it was Bretta. Bretta, yes. So yeah, for Dynasty weren't there. Bretta was the daughter of the kind of client of the first session. Her uncle was caught up in some shenanigans, and our spider solicited her help to get him out. So there was a 3-way gang fight. A lot of foghound people dead. Oh yeah, yeah, they're not happy about that as well. But we'll get to that. Okay, so I'm gonna note that down in the crew sheet that you have a cohort for this, and I'll give them a name. But we've been here for an hour, and so let's take a break, and I'll cut to either the Raven Doctor or to Redcoat. Probably Redcoat, and then we get to see this performance, and then we'll continue free playing into this score. But yeah, let's come back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Cool. 10 minutes.
Cool.
So BRB. There we go. Okay, so before we kind of jump into like this ritual, I do want to cut to Redcoat, see what Redcoat's doing because we've not seen him
Sure.
Some time.
So I have a question in terms of putting our new expert to work. Would that be one of my downtime actions, or would that be something that I could direct them to do at a different time? Perhaps? Specifically, I want to ask them to. I don't feel like, narratively that it's me. It's often us asking them for it. It's more like, here is a gadget kind of thing. But on the meta level, I want a grappling hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we like act that out? Let's see the scene of you trying to.
Oh no, but that's what I mean. I don't
Spend-
think I don't feel like it's like a. I don't know if it fits like the comic book thing for us to be coming to her and going like, unless we have a very specific tool that we need for a job or something, right? I
Okay.
feel like it's more the sort of like Q style kind of like, this is what I've cooked up for you. This should come in handy kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like,
you want to have it, but you the player wants to like to have it like come from
either
her
player
version.
wants it. Redcoat, the character has no idea that it exists.
Okay. All
You
right.
see what I'm saying? Like, yes.
Yeah, that is quite meta. Let's see how we'll go about with that.
I suppose ultimately what it boils down to is how do I get the how do we make use of that expert? Does that take place as one of my downtime actions, or
I think it's gonna be one of your downtime actions.
that'd be one of my
for
downtime
sure.
actions then? Okay.
Yes.
Well, in which case, let me just have a quick look at my thing, at my stress levels,
Let me
of
double-check
which I
the
have
experts.
5. It doesn't really say. It says as an action. The examples given are not really for that kind of out of score kind of thing.
Oh, sorry. Say that again. Sorry, I was. A bit
So it says when
distracted.
you send an expert to achieve a goal, roll their quality to see how it
Yeah.
goes. But the goal would be
Yeah.
feels like a downtime action rather
Yeah.
than
No,
a.
that would be a long-term thing to make a grappling hook. Let me think on this. Because yeah, experts, someone to add to your crew. Just give someone a roll for a given type. Let me think on this because.
Okay, well, we'll leave it for now. That's obviously what I want to do with the expert at some point.
Mhm.
I will just spend my downtime action this time indulging my my vice of obligation
Ooh,
instead to
what does
try
that
and
look?
lower my.
What does
That
that
is
look like?
my. That's me. That is Solomon Reigns. I think not Solomon Reigns, but in fact, Hella Innowick, the rookie, is on patrol, and she's refused to take a bribe, which has marked her for Grace's bad books. And as she's walking on patrol in Char Hollow, she's followed down alleyways by 2 bluecoats who pretend to be members of the Crows, and are going to rough her up to teach her a lesson about how you should accept, you're either part of us or you're an enemy kind of thing. And she blows a whistle, but, no one's coming. And that's when, you think that you're going to see, well, no, that is when you do see. I was toying with it. Was it Solomon who rescues her, like in person, or does he, whatever? But I think it is going to be like her first encounter with Redcoat, who will come and smash, like grab the club as it's about to come down on Hella, and whip away the 2 corrupt cops who pretend to be crows and rough her up. And I think she'll shakily pull out a pistol and point it at him at the end of it. Like, you're under arrest. And he just looks, and he just walks off into the night as she slumps backwards against the wall, like breathing heavily.
Nice. Roll indulge vice. There's a button there above those lists of trauma.
Mm-hmm. So
Mechanically, what it does is it rolls your lowest like attribute category.
Okay, so I
which
wouldn't
is a
get
1.
bonus dice. I just hit submit. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a 6.
You
Which
overindulge
is
though.
overindulge, yeah.
So you lose
By
all
1.
your stress. Which is good.
Yeah, but I do overindulge.
Yes. So let's go through that. Oh man, I haven't seen this in a long time, which tells you how much stress how much stress I'm seeing in Blade's characters. Okay, so when you indulge vice, where is it? No,
I so I obviously don't want lost.
mhm.
I feel like attracting trouble, selecting or rolling an additional entanglement is too much complication for the wider sort of stuff that we're doing. And I don't like
Truly.
tapped, so I'm going to have a brag about your exploits. And in this case, it's not brag about your exploits so much as it is word getting back. You know, like she's a good little blue coat, and she files a report about how the vigilante redcoat, you know, and it draws all the wrong kind of attention. So I have single-handedly undone the abbess's good work. Sorry, guys.
Nice. I say nice, but no. Fat. Okay, so let's get to this ritual then.
Cool.
So you're atop the clock tower. Actually, quick question: is Paula still there in the clock tower?
I mean, Paula. Almost forgotten about Paula. Is Paula still there? I mean, maybe she has found her own quarters instead of hanging around the clock tower all the time. But I imagine she hangs around a lot because I think she's still in a pretty bad spot with the Dimmer sisters that we abducted her from.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I guess you can describe what happened there. Yeah.
It was rescueduction, whatever it was. I mean, yeah. So I guess I would have disinvited her from this ritual because it's pretty dangerous, and I would not want her to be eaten by the crows, by the ravens, nor by the crows. But I would not suggest that they are cannibals just yet.
Yeah. Okay, so you're up atop this clock tower. You've got
I am wearing protective eye gear, just in case.
Oh yeah, you kind of have to stick your head into the incense. So.
Yeah, also because ravens and eyes. I like my eyes where they are.
Yeah. Let me just look at something because I just realized looking at this, there is like a minimum amount of stress that needs to be cast. I'm gonna say, let's look at the magnitude here. 2 stress seems reasonable.
Okay.
Cool. And yeah, I didn't say that it needs action roll. It's just gonna get you 2 stress at the start of that progress clock.
Okay.
So what do we see, and how does Silas feel as he feels his mind connecting?
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting. I mean, I imagine that in that night, as the incense drifts upwards and the ravens start gathering, they're silent. And then fog starts creeping up the tower and shrouding the whole thing in fog apparently. And Silas is up. He has his goggles on. He wears gloves. He is careful. He doesn't want the ravens to peck at him. I imagine they will try though, because you have to test this human being who wants to be part of a conspiracy. But he is prepared, and as he breathes in the incense and breathes it out, the ravens will start breathing with him. And at one point, they are all breathing in the same cadence, like in, out, both the ravens and Silas. And then his mind starts connecting with all these other minds that are very alien. They aren't as inferior as he thought, because, I mean, they are animals, and he is a great doctor. But they are not. They have a different perspective, and that kind of maybe humbles him a little. And then suddenly the ravens start flying, and he's overcome a bit by vertigo, drops to his knees, and it takes a bit of time to get used to the shifts in perspective, and getting himself shifted back into his own head and where he needs to look at and where the ravens look at. And when he takes off the goggles, then he notices the connection isn't as strong. If he really wants to view the city through the raven's eyes, he has to wear those goggles.
Yeah. I think that's neat. Paula will probably notice what's happening. Probably when you're going down, she kind of just gives you a look, like a curious sort of look, and she goes back to scribbling her notes.
I mean, I imagine not many people, everybody who knows the clock tower will notice that it seems to be now inhabited by this conspiracy of ravens.
Yeah, I mean, hard to keep this place hidden, but you picked it as hidden. Okay, so that kind of takes care of everyone's downtime actions, and no one has any coin or rep. Well, Ronnie can get 1 coin. But,
I was thinking with Paula that we like blindfolded her when we took her here, and we blindfold her when like when she comes back. It's kind of like at request kind of thing. Maybe Soren even possesses her briefly and walks her in through the thing with no memory of the event.
Yeah. Like I don't know if like she'd stay here, but I don't think she comes here too often. Mainly because
I just mean whenever she's available, kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, she's not like a full friend yet because we're only halfway through that project clock to make her a full friend.
I have a question about that. The direct clock, does it fill up when I use it again? And when it's at 6, then something bad happens? Or
yeah, it fills up if I choose a complication.
Okay.
If you
cool.
roll back.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yay.
Basically, it's just it's a vector for in case I run out of things to like complicate your lives with. There's an extra complication, and that's always resistible. But yeah, what I said is like, yeah, if that fills up, then your conspiracy is kind of like weakened, and someone can like latch in and add themselves to it. That's kind of like the consequence of building this. But that means you got a flock full of ravens, and that can affect your fictional positioning, your effect, however you want to do it. Like if you want to spy on someone using your ravens, that probably means you get better effect. You want to fight with your ravens, people will be spooked out because it's supernatural effect. Pretty good ritual, all things considered. Okay, so we're kind of like we're running out of downtime activity, so we're kind of like in a weird sort of free play kind of mode. So I guess before I kind of start throwing stuff, or I guess I can start. Oh, I have some stuff to throw because we do want to get into the big crow action, but I do kind of want to know if folks want to interact with either each other or anywhere else in the city.
I was thinking that we could have a brief Ronnie, and I think redcoat in redcoat thing, and just looming out of the shadows and just being like, we're gonna take down the crows. You in?
Of course I'm in.
Yeah. A lot of red in your ledger, I hear. You can put it right tonight.
Okay. When do we start? What do we do? You can count on me.
Cool. And then we'll cut to the the score basically.
Yeah. I was gonna say, does anyone want to gather info to see what actually, because I have an idea of what the opportunity is, but I do kind of want to see how the characters can find out. So you're going to war. What are they?
So I was wondering if this is again. Sorry, I ask a lot of questions about the rules just because I find Blades is so many overlapping different things. To me, and I feel like I may be cheesing the system a bit here. I'm feeling that a way to destroy the crows is to take turf, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that turf claim on the side of one of the sides of our crew sheet, and I'm thinking we do a full-on raid of the crows. We smash the crows and we take their turf, kind of stuff, away from them, and that would destabilize them enough to knock them down a tier and win the war as well. So it's kind of two things with one stone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, anyways, because I was thinking it also lets us expand our playbook out without spending a full score on that, as well as a war, as you know, like we get to play more with other stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like those claims, usually the way they're claimed is players being like, we want to take that. And I'll be like, okay, all right, how are we going to do that? If you've got ideas, that's perfectly fine. And it sounds like there are ideas to be claiming that turf.
Does that sound good with you guys?
Yeah, sure. I would like to maybe rewind a little bit when Redcoat asked me if I'm in. I just, instead of just answering yes, I'm in, I just want to start talking about what I know about the crows, because I'm from Crow's Foot. So
nice.
Maybe that's not a lot of information, but I know that how many of them there are. Or, I don't know. I know that their headquarters is also in a tower.
You roll out a map of thinking, you start pointing out locations and things.
Yeah.
There
I
we
just
go. Yeah,
happen to have a map. Yeah, and it's the tower is called the Crow's Nest. Yes, it's on the map here.
Oh, cool.
So it's this is the headquarters, and I know a little bit about them because I was working with the Lamb Blacks, and they are like rivals of the Crows. So I just, instead of just saying, I don't know, I mean, I just start, planning with them, and yeah, that's it. We should meet with the others.
Mm-hmm.
I can find out more if you want.
Well, should we gather some info rolls, I suppose?
Sure.
Yeah. So I want to ask each of you if you're doing anything to gather info on what could be happening in the crow's nest.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right. So I'm Ronnie. What are you doing to gather info, like fictionally? What is she doing?
Well, I think maybe just do the old-fashioned sneaking up to the crows, to the crow's nest, and just trying to find out how many of them there are, or just try to find a weakness. If Redcoat has said that we want to take their turf, that means maybe that their tower is what we want to take or destroy, or is it too much?
Let's see. They're tier 1 with a weak hold. Frankly, if you pull this off, you kind of take them out.
Yeah.
Because unlike your gang, which can exist on a tier 0, NPC factions, if they get knocked out at the tier 1 a weak hold and they go to 0, they're gone.
Okay.
This will be our first mission in a super. Well, I know it'll be our second one. I think about a supervillain's lair kind of thing. It's the gang's lair, and we've got Corvidae, the Crow Lieutenant.
Yes,
yeah,
that's what she's calling herself. What action are you rolling for this fortune roll, Ronnie?
Okay, so I think that would be prowl.
Okay. There's no position effect here. I'll gather info to fortune roll.
So I just do a fortune roll, right? Okay.
Yes.
Fortune roll. Effect standard.
You still get limited info. You still get info, but I think what makes it a bit harder for you is that it's just things are tense, especially around the crow's nest. I think you see a lot of little gangs of crows, kind of muttering to themselves, looking darkly at anyone who might seem a bit untoward, or at least someone who could be a threat, which is you. Although you got a good disguise, but I think they're really watching out for people who they know isn't a crow. But here's the bit that you gotta get murmurings. In the next couple of days, there's going to be a big meeting in Crow's Nest, more like a public forum, more like a public debate, is because what the basic info about the Crows is that their leader was recently killed, Rorik, and was replaced by Corvidae. But given the failure of the raid into Char Hollow, her position is also in question. So there's kind of gonna be like a fairly biggish gathering of crows in Crow's Nest because they've got kind of like a their lower floor serves like as a pub, exclusive crows pub, and that's gonna be like where the gathering is. Corvidae is gonna be there, quite a bunch of crows, and they're all kind of being like, you're not doing so hot as our leader. But yeah, I think that's the most that you get.
That's good. That's good info. I think that's they're going to be divided in a way, so that could be their weakness.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I relay the information to the patrol.
Yeah. We can say that any sort of info anyone gathers will probably be relayed, unless you say so that you don't tell anyone this. But
Yeah, maybe I want to keep the Lamblacks as a sort of a surprise.
Okay.
If it happens that they are, just I just keep it quiet. I'm not hiding anything, but just I want to show off to the crew that I can be very beneficial. So maybe just if the time comes, that show the Lamblacks as helping as something I did to them.
Oh yeah. What about the Raven Doctor, Redcoats? Are any more info on gathering or?
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's a thing that's called the crow's nest. I mean, ravens fly even into the crow's nest. Ravens are bigger than crows anyway. But what I'm not after mundane information. I think that's more Amarani's and Redcoats resort. I want to know if they have any kind of spiritual or ghostly guards or stuff that we should be aware of before we go in and then get all possessed by the evil undead or something like that.
That's fair. What are you rolling? How are you figuring this out?
I think that I do it with study. Is that possible?
Yes.
Or maybe I could use a tune, right?
Yeah. I would say that you've got your Raven ritual. I think that would for gather info that would add another die.
Okay, I've got to find my character here. So I'm using a tune. A tune seems more appropriate anyway. And my position, do I have to position? Is that
no,
fortune roll, right?
It's a fortune roll.
Right, okay. And I get another die.
Yeah.
Effect, don't care, right? And I get a bonus die. Whee! I've submitted. And I've rolled
a 6.
Oh, okay, 6. Okay.
You get exceptional details. Information complete and follow-up questions may expand to related areas, etc., etc. Okay, so you're looking for supernatural stuff because they got a hull at one point.
Yeah.
I think you will notice, and I'm assuming with your Raven buddies, that like flying up to like the top of the crow's nest, which I'm imagining is like very tallish. It's taller than the average Duskwall building. Maybe I'm imagining like how Paris those buildings are kind of like they're fairly uniform. Maybe like 2 or 3 stories taller than, so it stands out on the crow's nest. I think you will notice that like there is like this flickering energy on the top floor. And if one of your ravens peers through the window, you see they've got a second hull, but it's disassembled at the moment. It's just standing there. It's missing a head and an arm. The head, it's in an office, which is the weirdest thing as well. It's a fairly big office, but its head is just standing there. Its body's just standing there. It's missing its left arm, which I think the raven will notice it's on the floor. And you see there's like boxes that have been unopened, similar to the boxes that the magpie found in the Dimmer Sisters, like a snuff place. That seems really weird. And you got this like flickering energy coming not from the hull itself, but from those boxes. And I think that's the kind of the extent of supernatural energy you find the crows. You kind of get the feeling that like you'd think they'd have more, but this just might be it. They're kind of like on their last legs. But here's the exceptional detail. On the desk, kind of like flittering around, is this Nightingale, and it's just kind of like it's a nightingale. It's just on the desk, looking at this hall, kind of like chirping, looking around. I don't think it'll see you because like it rolled because you because this was a fortune roll. But I think you look closer, you see that this nightingale looks remarkably real, but isn't.
Oh.
You can see then that like its feathers are kind of like glued on, and the way like it moves its head, it's just a bit more robotic. And then you notice that like when it's prancing on the desk, it's kind of like a program. It's looped. It loops back.
It's kind of like a howl in the shape of a nightingale, or
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But does it seem that like it's at home there, or like it's spying there?
Sorry, say that again.
Does it look like it is at home there, or is it spying?
You see a slightly open window near the desk. You don't get the sense that it's it's not holding court here. If it was, it would be a crow, not a nightingale.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you can tell that like it came in and is looking around.
Same as me. Okay. Interesting.
Okay. You can have one more follow-up question. You rolled a 6, if you want, but I would say that the most supernatural stuff you'll find is just this disassembled hull. I think you can tell that like it's gonna take some time to like fully put it together. You're smart. You know how hulls work. It's gonna take some time. The closest is like the day of the disassembly, and even then it won't be anything like the hulls you faced. It's kind of like the cheapest, crappiest one.
Okay, interesting. I almost feel pity for them, but well, I will relay this to my esteemed co-conspirators. I will especially highlight the mechanical nightingale I saw, because I believe this is not someone of the crows. This might be another faction that has an interest in the whole conflict.
Where did we hear the name Nightingale before? Wasn't that someone delivered a cryptic message about the Nightingale?
I think it might have been the magpie.
Yeah, Steiner threatened us about it, and so the widow found it about. We've had 3 different clues leading towards a nightingale. The magpie discovered the nightingale has taken a bounty out on her head, and the widow found out that Nightingale is making big moves in the illicit trade of the snuff trade, I think it was, bringing strange shipments in from Aruvia. And
right, it's true.
Yeah. I won't say anything more.
No, of course, yeah. Well, that's the dramatic dun, 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 reveal.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it my gather info now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Redcoat is going to hunt the leaders of the crows and work out who's our best target here. Like who is the person that we take out and this whole thing crumbles apart, basically. I'm kind of imagining. I don't know if you've ever read Batman Year One, like where he blows open the wall or the Cosa Nostra, the mob families are all having like a dinner, and he puts C4 against the wall, and then it blows open, and he just stands above the table and delivers this brutal speech, and then disappears in the smoke, and they're all just like, "Oh my god, who is this thing?"
Yeah. How is Redcoat doing that?
I think that's a hunt. A hunt fortune. Yeah, if you like. He's I think it's a mixture of blue coat sort of by day using his blue coat resources as well as his prowling the night kind of stuff.
Okay.
So do you not get any bonus dice? So it's just a 1.
Sorry, yeah, you didn't make a ritual to
No, that's
have
fine.
Raven friends, but you got a 6.
I got a 6 anyways.
Pretty good. Okay, so here's kind of like what you find out. There are 2 would-be leaders in the crows, which makes cutting them down easier, for sure. There is the aforementioned Corvidae. You know, her real name is Lissa. It's actually spelled like this. Who you've met, who was ran off by the widow Penderin. So
I will be exclusively referring to her by a cape name anyways. So.
okay, yeah. Corvidae. She is she's someone who's kind of been like she's got quite a big file in the Blue Coats because she's suspected to have been of noble birth. So suspected to have had some connections in in the ritzier parts of Duskwall. But kind of just came out of nowhere to take command of the crows, and she's suspected of having murdered the former boss.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Opposing her is a man named Bell, who is like true and blue of the crows, by the crows, for the crows. His gimmick is that I say his gimmick, but his thing is that he claims to have stolen a spirit warden bell, and he uses it to attune himself to the death field and whatnot. And he claims that's how he knows that the Corvidae has killed their boss, because he's talked to Rorik's ghost. That's what he claims. Only he can attest to this because he has the spirit warden Bell, hence why his name is Bell. He's much like that bear guy you fought with the Foghounds, whose name is Bear, and he had a bear on him. Very straightforward.
I'm liking the normative determinism. Yeah.
I will say Bell is straight from the book, so I'm just extrapolating that. So is Bear. Corvidae is not. I made that up. But yeah, Bell is definitely he has never been fond of Lissa, and he feels he can sway. I think what you get from the files I'm looking through is that Bell kind of commands a lot of respect in Crow's Foot. Quite a bit of respect. Most of it's residual from Rorik, but he has the loyalist side. Well, Lissa would have we just want to be great side. We just want to be big old big shots in Crow's Foot.
Okay.
I wonder if we'll meet their brother a beer. Yes.
And
yeah,
as a follow-up question, can I work out a good way of taking them both out?
Well, they both are going to be at this.
Yeah, maybe So it sounds as though Corvidae has a lot of suspicions around her, but she's got some force. But Bell is ripping up distrust against her. I wonder if there's a way we can turn them against each other and then swoop in and take away the. Okay, I have an idea for the thing. I don't think I have any. Would the doctor be able to attune to that spirit warden bell?
So to the Raven Doctor.
Well, I don't think I have any more questions for extra info. To be perfectly honest, this is more about our approach, I think, to the thing. I'm kind of imagining bringing forth Rorik's ghost. You killed me, you did, and then while they're all brawling, we swoop in the middle of the melee, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can just say that, and we can say that's an occult plan, and we can just roll to see if it works. That's sometimes engagement roles can be that simple, and gathering info is figuring out what's either the best or the most fun vector of the plan. That's kind of the main reason why we gather info, so we can detail out. We figure out what plan we want to do and what the detail of the plan is. That could easily be an occult plan, and the detail is Rorik's ghost.
Well, I am sure I will get to hit something no matter what, so I defer to my 2 companions on their ideas for.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Calling out the ghost and making them go at each other has a certain poetry of justice that I actually admire.
Nice.
Okay. We've reached another break. Let's take 5 this time. Let's come back at the half-hour mark, and we'll see how this plan goes. BRB. Okay. So let's go through planning and engagement. We've kind of chosen the plan in the detail. Occult, engage a supernatural power, and the detail is the arcane method, which is the this handy bell that Bell has. And yeah, the plan is get them to fight, and then the 3 of you, along with your gang of hired out lamp blacks, who I've called the Wicks, because candle wick, that sort of thing. Imagine having an army of John Wicks, I guess. Well, not exactly. They're only tier 2, but like, not John. I've never seen those movies.
John Wick is a tier 4 by himself. Like,
I've heard. Yeah, I think yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, so we've got the plan in the detail. Next, you choose your item loadouts. As always, like used up items refresh in downtime, so you have all those items again. Remember, you have your Vigilantes attire, which is you have 2 free load of weapons or supplies. As always, so yeah.
So I'm choosing normal loadout because I want to use disguise again, probably. So I don't want to be too conspicuous to go heavy.
I can see the perfect flashback for Ronnie in disguise in this thing. Yeah. I will go with normal, just to open it up for doing like sneaky things as well, like leaping from rooftop to rooftop and stuff like that.
Oh, true. Yeah, going heavy would deter you from that.
Yeah, that's just not our turf, so let's go with normal loadout.
Yes. Okay. Now we go with the engagement roll. Let's go through the rigmarole as always. Start with 1 for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yeah. You're just striking out. You're claiming turf on another district. So that's another one. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Not really. Like the operation seems set up, to take advantage of a lot of like factors for sure, but they're all there, and they're not hard to take advantage of. So still on 2 dice. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? You don't lug around the Spirit Warden spell with you, even though it makes you look cool. You just don't do that. You really don't. 3 dice. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do you have particular defenses? Nope, they don't. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Well, Bazo Bays provided as aid. I think he's probably like providing not just the crew, but like a way for y'all to get here. He's invested in this.
Sure.
Yeah. 4. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Yes. So I'm taking that away. I'm just saying yes.
The Nightingale. Yes.
Nightingale, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any other elements you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier. No, you're the same tier at the moment, so you're kind of evenly matched. Yeah, I think there's not any more. I think that's fine. Yeah, 3 dice. 3 dice is pretty good. Who wants to roll this?
I want to roll this. This is an occult thing, and I feel that I should roll this.
Okay.
Okay, where do I roll this?
It's a fortune dice, a fortune roll. So.
Okay, I can just use my roll fortune, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any way we can push the dice up, or do we have to work with a 3?
No, you work with this. There are kind of like ways. Like I've seen folks like, I'm going to do a long-term project so that we can always have +1 die on assault rolls. I know other games like Hack the Planet. Like, yeah, but not right now.
Okay, cool. I don't have to put in anything at notes, right?
No. That's a 5.
Okay.
You started a risky position, which is fab. Risky is not bad.
Probably worse.
Yeah, it's the middle. You're you're one off from being controlled, which is the nice part, and you're one off from being desperate, which gets you XP. So I think um I think here's kind of like how it kind of like works. I'm kind of imagining that like um that Bazo base is kind of like smuggled you into um probably around, let's see, probably around here in the Silver Flame Way, near the cut. And here is where, or actually I should ask our doctor, the Raven Doctor. Our doctor, the Raven Doctor. I keep doing it. What do we see when you kind of like when you try to like I say try when you go and attune to the Spirit Warden bug? Because I think there's like a moment where you're in this Silver Flame Way. You're in this like room. And you're looking down into the streets, and you see I think you as a Spirit Warden will hear the tinkling of the bell, and you can tell it's not a purposeful clanging to summon Spirit Wardens to take care of a ghost. No, it's just someone wearing it on their fucking hip, and they're just sauntering towards the crow's nest. You get it. Yeah, you see.
Seems highly intelligent.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think.
I think I will use the ravens so I don't have to expose myself to notice, just to attune to the bell. And then I will call forth the spirit from the bell.
Yeah.
And tell him to say his piece. Tell them who murdered him. They are all very interested in that.
I think what you all see is like you attune, and there's this like cawing of ravens, and like Bell's kind of like stops and he's going for his bell, which you see attached to his hip, and he's just kind of like he's shivering a bit as like this ectoplasmic energy is kind of like emerging from around him, and outbursts from the crow's nest is Corvidae in her fuck off cape of feathers, and it's just like, and she's waving a sword around. Yeah, she's waving a would be a sword. No, she's waving this like clearly what looks like kind of like a shotgun, like a sawn-off thing. And it's just like, I knew you'd have some trickery on you, Belle. I knew that this would be your doing. You're trying to conjure some tricks about, aren't you? And Belle is just kind of like, what? As from underneath them, I'm gonna say around here, Rorik, kind of like his phantasmagorial form, just kind of like emerges, and I think like he sees Lissa and points a finger and just says, "Murder!" But before he could say any more, Lissa like Lissa, the Corvidae, I should call it Corvidae, goes into her like belt, goes into like her coat and pulls out like what looks like this like ghost vial, and kind of tosses it at the ghost of Rorik, and it attaches onto him and sends out this like convulsing sort of ectoplasmic wave, and it kind of like flutters her ravens a bit. And Corvidae shouts, "There, I've had some forewarning. The Twilight Patrol is here." And Belle's just kind of like, "Don't you dare change the subject. That was Rorik. That was his form. He was about to name you." But I think like as folks from Belle's side kind of comes out and starts arguing with Lissa. Lissa's side kind of starts going around, and there's like a group of them headed towards your spot. What do you think?
I would love to suggest this seems like a tinderbox, and somebody could easily start a fight. Like who throws the first punch in a bar fight? It could be anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking I'm happy to flash back and have Solomon Reigns like just throw a table or something. But I was wondering if Amrani, our slide, would like to be in disguise in this scene and maybe set the tinder alight, kind of stuff.
Yes, that's what I was thinking also. So I was thinking about disguising myself as one of the crows, of course.
Yeah, we can say. I think I will ask for an action to like blend in with the crows, so that in this flashback. So
okay. Yes. So this is I pay for the flashback and then I make an action roll. That's what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. I think this is zero stress flashback. This is absolutely up your alley, and it's a tinder box, so it shouldn't be that hard to like blend in.
Yeah, I'm blending in, and I have this special ability which says it's Cloak and Dagger, which gives me when you use a disguise or other form of covert misdirection, you get plus 1d to rolls to confuse or deflect suspicion. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's a +1, and the action is sway, I think, because that's what it says in the description.
Are you using your Find Disguise kit?
Yes, that also. Yeah.
So what does Amrani's crow disguise look like?
So the crows all have kind of I'm not sure if it was defined before, but maybe not as much as Corvidae, but they all have kind of black feathers on their I don't know, hats or black coats or stuff like that. So Amrani is definitely wearing a big black coat with lots of feathers on the around the neck, and it's large because there are probably some weapons underneath, hidden underneath, and I have black. It's kind of a not a head, but a half cylinder. Is that what you call it? Huh? And probably some fake mustache to just pose as a man.
Hell yeah! So I think position is going to be risky, but the effect is going to be great. So what it means, like, you're going to be in like a really good position when you want to do set off this tinderbox.
Okay.
So what are you rolling with?
I'm rolling with sway, I think, but this is just for the disguise. The roll is for the disguise, or what I want to do later.
The roll is for you to be in the perfect position.
For blending in, yeah, for having blended in, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So my sway is 2, and I get
+1 die.
+1 die.
So
and you said the risky, yes.
Risky great.
Risky great, and bonus die 1.
Okay. Whoa, 6. Where are you?
Well, I'm with. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I heard where this is happening. It's in front of the tower.
Yes, the kerfuffle is right outside the tower.
Okay.
The street fight is in the offing.
Okay, so it's a. I'm picturing like a Corvidae and a Bell being surrounded by a lot of crows.
Yes.
A lot of gang members, and they form a circle around them. And when this electroplasmic blast strikes the ghost, the circle they just start to turn around at each other and looking what's happening. And I just want to. I don't know. I just want to punch someone, the closest person next to me, and if I can, I throw it at in the middle of the. Punch them and push them in the middle of the circle, so that people just are forced to join in and not sure about where they want to.
Okay, I think that's another action roll, and then we'll see what the consequences are. So we'll see what the other two is doing. I will say that at least the Raven Doctor feels like he can assist because he's got his ravens out. But we'll get to that. Okay. Yeah. So what are you rolling here, Ronnie?
Is that skirmish?
Yeah. I
I
guess,
think, yes.
punching, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Well, I have no dice in skirmish, but I will try to push myself.
Okay, get you 1 die. Is anyone
Any-
gonna assist? I think it's still risky great is your position
I mean,
effect.
assisting gives me 1 stress, right?
Yes, just 1.
Oh, okay, I will assist
good.
then. Just have some sort of, I mean, raven swoop in the middle of the whole thing, just to confuse people a bit more about who's punching whom and why, and maybe steal a hat, right?
Yeah.
The people wear hats, so just toss a hat off somebody's head.
Hell yeah.
Great. So that's 2 dice, 2 bonus
Yes.
dice. Okay. And I'm rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, good.
See, my fortune dark curse keeps happening. Everyone just keeps rolling 6s. Yeah. So I think what's gonna happen is like, yeah, you throw your punch, and yeah, I think nobody knows who threw the first punch. Well, you do. It was you. But
And I shout something like, "It's all your fault," and stuff like that.
yeah, I think like and yeah, I think just a melee just starts happening, and so we get this tableau of like Rorik's ghost kind of twitching as he's being sucked into this weird ectoplasmic device. Corvidae just shouts like, "What? No, fuck!" And Bell like swings his like spirit warden Bell into her face, and a fight's getting around. I will say, Ronnie, you are in the middle of it, and I think like we get a shot of like in the building, Bretta, who's a member of the Wicks. She just kind of like turns to whoever's there, which is either probably Redcoat or the Raven Doctor, and she's just like, well, if we knew that's all we need to do, we probably shouldn't have gone through the trouble of being here, I guess."
Well, now's the perfect time, I think, to swoop in and break them up. Like as they kill each other, we go for the leaders, and then the Wicks cover our backs. Like in this fight.
Hell yeah. So yeah, Redcoat, what do you do?
I would like to dramatically crash through a skylight down into the fight between Corvidae and Bell, and
put the fear on them. So to speak.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hell yeah. So what are you rolling?
So, I guess that's a skirmish, right? If I'm allowed to just say that I'm coming in straight through the appropriately placed skylight.
Oh yeah, no, you always pick the action that you want to roll.
Cool.
I might debate rolling a study in this situation, but you tell me what you do and you tell me what you're rolling with.
Cool. I will roll skirmish, and I will be using my fine weapon to do this as well.
Hell yeah! So I think this is you're still in the realm of risk. No, I think this is controlled even because like Ronnie's got them. They're not gonna know you're here. Well, Lissa has an inkling, but she's too busy trying to fend off Bell. And you've got the specter of their dead leader's ghost going, "Ah!"
And now everybody else is fighting each other as well. Like all the various factions are kicking off, and that guy's like, "I'm going to stab you for that. What you said to me last week, you bastard," kind of thing. And
So I think it's definitely controlled great, which is the best you could be position you could be, because adding all the other stuff, you got backing, you've got a big sword. They're distracted, controlled great. Yeah.
Controlled great. And
do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
Or a devil's bargain? Do you have a devil's bargain in mind? Does anyone have a devil's bargain?
I think the devil's bargain is that I think Rorik's ghost is gonna see you and come after you and gonna put your position after this roll into risky.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's fine.
Okay, cool. So for now you're controlled, but as soon as whatever the result of this, you're gonna be in a risky position.
Oh, good job! I did that. I only got 4.
Wow. Well, 4 is still good. 4 is still a success.
Yeah. Compared to our rolls so far.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, geez, look at that spread: a 2, and then a 1, and a 4, and then a 1. Okay, so yeah, I think you just jump in and you're going straight for the leaders, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think tell me which one, and then I can I can frame where you're at and what the competition will be.
I feel like it's whoever's like as one of them like gets upper hand on the other one, like Redcoat comes in and just like maybe I think Lissa like staggers back with that shotgun and smacks Bell in the face with it, and then has him like at gunpoint range, and she's like, "I'm got to enjoy this," and then Redcoat just comes crashing down, smashes her off her feet, like as they come up in a fighting stance, it's like, "You're nicked."
Yeah, and I think like this who's been knocked on the ground, and let me see, I'm gonna put a clock to represent them fighting, or at least like the situation. Cow the crows. There we go. Cow is in the verb to cow, not like any interpretation. I think that action will like at least put a tick on there, because part of the success is making this appear and putting a tick. But the consequence, because you're now also two things kind of happen. One, the risky position will happen. The Rourke's just kind of like is trying to grab towards Lissa as he's struggling against this ectoplasmic voice, but you're in the way, and you say you're nicked, and Corvid is just like, well, you're dead, and she shoots you with the shotgun blast. And I think because you started control, this is gonna be level 1 harm. You're muted, Will.
I will spend armor to resist that.
Hell yeah.
I have heavy armor.
You start with normal.
Okay, then I can tick it up all the way to there. So
yes.
Would that be one tick on my armor box, or is it just gone?
Both, because like if 2 boxes are connected, that means it uses up 2 slots. So
I see. Yeah. So.
And then you've used up your armor, and maybe you can go up to heavy if you have enough item.
Well, I do, thanks to our playbook thing, the Vigilantes attire thing.
But
so cool. I got another one to burn in. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it thuds into off Redcoat's armor.
She's not happy about that. I'll cut to the Raven Doctor. Raven Doctor, Rorik's ghost is kind of the plan's going well, except for Rorik's ghost, who's kind of like hovering around.
Yeah, but I wanna get rid of all these baby crows. I don't want them here. They could just hit the wrong person at the wrong time. So what I'm doing is I'm calling my ravens to me, and then I'm going in like at the entrance. I have my fine lightning thingy, and I have electroplasmic energies crackling around, and I'm telling them, crows, you're too small for this city. This is a raven city now. And I will try to cow them, not in the moo kind of way. With command, obviously.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I will use my fine lightning hook for
dramatic
effect.
Yes. Yeah. I think with the side of your ravens, I think this is your effect's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see how this is not controlled, because they don't know. Well, Lissa, Corvidae knew you're here, but she's too busy in a fight right now. This is great.
This goes more at the foot guys. That I just want them to go and never come back. Yeah. Do you have a devil's bargain for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna tick your attention clock by 2, and that clock sticks around, I would say.
Yeah, that's a fine. I take your devil's bargain. So that's I get one. I get one for a command.
Yes,
exactly.
Does anyone want to assist? Actually, I should ask that as well.
Yeah.
And either I'm Ronnie or Redcoat assisting in this.
Sure, Redcoat will assist.
You don't have to. But
No, I will. I've got the stress to spare now, so that's 1 stress, right?
Yes. How are you assisting?
I think. Well, I picked up Ghost Fighter in my last advancement, And I think that this is, so as Roderick's ghost like lunges at me through to get to Lissa through me, Redcoat snatches the ghost by the throat and lifts him up in front of everyone in the thing, and then just throws him over into Corvidae. And that's like more just as a doctor makes his dramatic entrance kind of thing, because everyone's like, Rorik, no, and then spirit energy cracks around everywhere.
Yeah. It's pretty good effect. So I'm in a controlled position, you said?
Yes, controlled.
Andrew?
Great. There, I don't see how you're not.
Yeah. Okay. And I have bonus dice, one for the lightning hook, right? And
No, one from the Devil's Bargain and another one
Okay.
from Redcoat.
Okay, cool.
The lightning hook
That's
is effect
two.
mostly.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I guess.
That's good.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I've got a
jeez.
6.
Yeah. So the
Whee!
Cow of the Crows clock goes up by 3. So you are halfway. Actually, no, you're more than halfway there. I think. Yeah, you got like the desired effect. I think the majority of the crows will start running off to all other parts of Crow's Foot. It's nice here at the nexus of this place, and they will just kind of like feck off. I think the only real proper crows are left are the 2 leaders who are gonna get into a melee with Redcoat. Probably like a few stragglers who are like loyalists to the other 2. They probably have like 3 mooks each, but you kind of clear the street. And I think cleared enough that Ronnie, the wicks, the lamp blacks, will spot you, and Bretta will kind of like run up to you, Ronnie, and Bretta, who looks completely unconcerned. She looks like she hasn't even gotten her club out. She's just like, you picked some powerful friends, Ronnie.
Good. I know, I say. Yeah, let's keep it going, right?
Where do you want us?
Just we need to do away with the leaders, so just create as much havoc as possible. Okay?
Yeah, I think she gives you like a jaunty salute, and I'm gonna roll their tier just to see how well they do, or roll them. Let's see.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. I've never rolled on a cohort, so I'm not sure if this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I rolled. Yeah, they do it amazingly well. They're Bezos' best, as he and no one else calls them. They prefer the Wicks, but Bezos like no, you're Bezos' best. You got. But yeah, I think they actually will take care of some of the mooks. So so I think Ronnie, you see that all that's left is kind of like the 2 leaders. They each have 1 mook with them, probably like their most loyal lieutenant, Rorik's ghost, who's grappling with Redcoat. God, has been thrown, or at least has been driven back with Redcoat barehanded. Ridiculous. The Raven doctors there being incredibly badass with all these ravens and lightning and this hook. It's ridiculous. I kind of want to see what you do, Amrani, before we turn to Redcoat. Is there anything else you want to do?
Okay, so the plan is to kill them, right? Or we do something else with them?
Whatever. If they meet a dramatic villainous end, then cool. Otherwise, it's like suspended in chains above a blue coat thing with a load of incriminating things.
Yeah, maybe we can, capture them or something. I'm thinking, yeah. If the 2 leaders are left alone, so to say, maybe I will, try to. I don't know if this will work, but I want to take out 2 pistols from my coat and just point each pistol in one of the leaders and say something dramatic like, "Don't move."
Yeah, you can mark off a pistol and a second pistol.
Yes, I have a second pistol too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, everyone has those. Yeah, but yeah.
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 And
What are you rolling?
I think I'm rolling command.
Okay.
I don't have any points in command, but doesn't matter.
Fine. There are ways to get dice. I want to say you're still in a controlled grade. You keep rolling sixes. How does this happen? Which is fine. Yeah, it's fine. It happens.
Okay.
But yeah, do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
What is the devil's bargain? I will listen for a devil's
bargain. The thing is, I don't want to push. I don't want to complicate this anymore because you're 2 ticks away from like finishing this. So I'd say simply. And the thing is, I don't know. We might hopefully we'll see you again, Dan, but you're not on for next week. So let's see. Heat's always good. I think heat. 2 heat specifically.
Okay.
Will you take it?
Yes, I will take it. Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone assisting?
Yes, I will assist. I mean, come on. Shouting at people, and I'll just stand behind her ominously with the ravens cawing and turn the beak of my mask in their direction, look at them and say, "Oh, listen to her. Listen to her, gentle persons."
Meanwhile, Redcoat's body slapping a ghost, suplexing them off a building. All right, you get an extra die. I'm Ronnie.
Okay, so I have 2 dice. That's fine. You said control, great.
Yes.
Okay.
The only person who went down to risky. Well, everyone. No, we started off at risky, but we kept rolling 6s. Oh my!
Another 6.
Yeah, another 6. I think part of running away is you respect when you get your successes. That's part of it. So I think what this is don't be a weasel is one of the principles in this game. If you get a controlled great success, you get it. So I think, and you fill this clock. So I think the 2 would-be crows look like they're just about to square off, but point the pistols. The Raven doctor's there, and calling them gentle persons. And I think the fight just goes out of both of them. I think they both just kind of raise their hands as we get this tableau of just the 2 of them and their 2 fellow mooks. The crows have been cleared out. You 3. We're gonna say that Rorik's ghost has kind of been sucked into the ectoplasmic file thing, and we'll take care of that later. But you 3 kind of it's a big splash wave of the 3 of you and the wicks as well. Just standing shoulder to shoulder, looking incredibly cool. Probably Armrani's in the center with the pistols, and she's flanked by the Raven Doctor with all his glorious ravens, and Redcoat, who just wrestled a ghost. And I think you've done it. You've done it. Is there anything else you want to do in this scene?
I mean, I just want to leave these guys strung up on a lamppost, Spider-Man style or Batman style. For the the one honest inspector in Duskwall to put away or something. So I'm fine with anything in this scene. That's just where I want to end it at, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that can happen.
And when the 2 of them are restrained, I put down my pistols and I say to myself, just thank God, because I've never used a pistol in my life. So it's good that I didn't have to.
You used them to very good effect, Ronnie.
Well, thanks.
I would like to go looking for the hull.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I think.
I mean, it's not finished, but I'm sure Dr. Fox could put the ingredients to good use.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can make Redcoat and Iron Man armor of his own.
I think I've kind of. I'll mention this next week, but I think I've figured out how to get Dr. Fox to do stuff, but I think we're close to wrapping up. But yeah, I think you can absolutely grab the hull. You will notice the Nightingale is not there anymore.
I did not expect her to be. So,
Yeah.
grab anything that's useful up there. I mean, papers, stuff, whatever.
Yeah, I think you can get the hull, and if you look in the boxes, you see the other arm and the head is there. This head is the crudest one. It's basically just a painted picture slapped into like this cylinder tube. It's kind of like it's like a can, you know. That's kind of like what it looks like. It's not great, and it's got this like badly kind of drawn sort of face with angry eyebrows as well, which is not great. You muted yourself there, Sabine.
It looks a little bit like you, Redcoat, in a certain light.
You can tell as well, along with the head that Magpie picked up, that this head is kind of breathing as well. But it's not as noticeable as the head that Magpie took. But yeah, you can hear like.
I think I should have a talk with this.
Yeah. So we've got some time. I think actually, it's nice to end a bit early. I've never been able to do that ever. That's amazing. So I think what we'll do is like, if there's any like last scenes you want, either with Ronnie or to close off this session, and then we'll do the XP. Feel free to shout them out.
Would Ronnie like another "you did good, kid" kind of scene with Twilight Patrol? Yeah.
Sure, of course.
Would we invite her to our tower? Are we at that point?
That'd be an honor.
I kind of imagine it more as like in the streets before we head back to Charhal, with our captives kind of thing, and like leave the wicks and Ronnie to clear up. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Something kind of like.
Yeah. Maybe we can part ways at the bridge. Because Amrani, maybe I'm thinking she wants to go back to Crosswood to see if, because the crows are not there anymore, so there'll be other gangs going to take over, and maybe
this is how we seize the turf. Is Amrani and her wicks look at this area of Crowsfoot, which keeps us safe on the the Crowsfoot side of Charhallow.
I'll ask before we get to see like which of those turf claims, because it kind of determines which path you want to go down to.
I quite like. I think maybe the left-hand side, because I like the idea of having defiant citizens, fierce allies, local heroes. Blue coat confidence will allow us to reduce our heat. Whereas the right gets us smugglers, more rep, healing, prowling back to the lair, which so far hasn't really come up, and catacombs, which is probably the only one I'm really interested in on that side.
Is that okay with yourself, Sabine and Dan?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like an infirmary, but we haven't had any casualties yet. But sure, let's take the other one. The thing on where I'm moving my hand. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with right and the left.
We can always upgrade Dr. Fox to be, of course, I'm a medical doctor as well. What do you mean?
So just to explain what turf does, it means you need less rep to go up in tier, or to go up in the hole.
Neat.
For sure. Cool. So yeah, let's do this scene at the bridge.
Okay. I hope we will meet again.
Oh, I'm very certain of it, my dear.
You always know where to find me.
Yes. You know how to reach us.
Yes.
You keep your side of the bridge safe, and we'll make sure we keep ours. But if you ever need help, you can always find the Twilight Patrol.
I will do that. I hope I have more opportunities to work with you, because you are on the good side.
Plenty of people need their wings clipped in this town. Not you, Doctor. Sorry, didn't mean that.
I did not assume it, that,
Yeah.
my dear Red Jacket. And I will turn to Ronnie and say, I will look forward to working with you again, my dear.
Stride dramatically across the misty bridge into the other side, dragging
Oh,
our
yeah.
prisoners.
Yeah, I like the idea that the river is full of mist and we stride into it.
Cool. And I take off my fake mustache and go back
Had
to,
that this whole
to
time.
close food. I don't need this anymore. I throw it in the river, in the canal.
Oh my god. Okay, that's a damn good scene to end our session. We will do XP right now, though, before we formally end. Okay, so let's go reverse order again, starting with Amrani. So, did you?
Okay.
See, no one rolled desperate because everyone is just great.
Yeah, most of them were controlled.
Yeah.
We did we rolled really good, really well.
Yeah. Did you address a challenge with deception or influence?
so,
Disregard that
yeah.
extra in.
Yeah, I think both.
Yeah.
Because I was, of course, doing the disguise thing again, and also I contacted the Basabas and the Lamblacks, use my influence with them to help them or try to do it.
So 2 XP.
Yeah.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think, yeah, in trying to do good, to do well, and maybe also, I don't know if that counts as background, but because I was a native of Crowsfoot, using that information to help.
You also didn't kill people, which was like another.
That also, yeah, that's what I was thinking about that when I did the pistol thing, but I couldn't remember it now. But yeah, that was the idea. I don't want to kill them. I don't want to kill anymore because I did enough of them. Yeah.
Take 2 more XP. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during this session?
Well, not really. No.
Yeah, that's hard to be able to do that consistently, unless you get a trauma. What did we learn of Amrani tonight?
I'm not sure. I think because she was asking for a favor from Basabas and the Lamblacks, it won't be that easy from her to break. I guess I don't know if that came out in a significant way, but I think that she's not. She can't break off from the criminal, the dark side that easily, because I guess he's going to, or they're going to ask for a return of the favor or something like that in the future if there's an opportunity.
Yeah, I think
we also learned that she's not afraid to get her hands dirty if need be, with throwing the first punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an XP for sure.
Okay.
So 5 overall.
Great.
Cool. Silas Ravenglass. Man, how did people not know you're the Raven Doctor with that name?
I don't know. I literally can't figure out how people don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not very inconspicuous about the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's
again,
quite a kind effect.
Yeah.
You put your glasses on, you couldn't possibly be the Raven Doctor.
Yeah, I put them off. I have different glasses. The Raven Doctor has different glasses than Silas. Yeah, of course. That has to be it. And a different hat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, did you address a challenge with knowledge or arcane power?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, sure I did. I addressed the study thing, and then I addressed the whole, let's go and command everybody's attention and shoo them away. I think I did that.
Yeah, 2 XP.
Cool.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yeah, I did. I mean, first of all, I addressed my background as an academic when I argued around with Dr. Fox, and also I addressed my heritage when I taught my little nephews and nieces about what hulls are.
Yeah. Cool. That's another 2 XP. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session?
I did not.
Yeah.
I do not have vices or traumas.
What did we learn of Silas Ravenglass tonight?
What did we learn? I think we learned that he is really into ravens. Come on. Wasn't that obvious?
It's
But,
kind of a given.
well, yeah, but yeah, and that
yourself the Raven Doctor. Like,
that's true. It's true. I do. Yeah, I do. What did
We did discover that. So this ritual, the Raven Doctor ritual, is like the way you've got all these ravens is kind of like old magic, right? Like not part of the sort of modern science of Duskwall.
Oh yeah,
So
that's definitely something something that came from Eruvia once a long time ago.
all right. Yes, I think that's 1 more XP, so you get 5. Heck yeah. Okay, and Redcoat. What will we do without you? Who can we punch without you?
Yes, of course. I definitely addressed several challenges with violence or coercion.
Yes.
I'd probably say 2. And beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think I expressed my my background in the Downtime action with the rookie being jumped by thingy.
You also expressed it again when you were gathering info on the 2 Crows leaders. You using your blue coat's background to like look into that, hunt them down.
I'll take that. So I did not struggle with any issues from vice or traumas during the session, and I don't think we learned anything about Redcoat this session.
He's the pillar. He's the constant.
Yeah, he's very straightforward. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So
I mean, I learned that his name was Solomon, which I had forgotten, but I don't know.
No, that's on the character sheet, I think. So.
I actually want someone to call him Solly at one point.
That can be what the other blue coats call him.
Oh man, that's what Grace absolutely calls you.
Yeah. So that's 4 XP, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
And I can put I'm sorry, I forget. Where can I put those again? Either into a stat or into a playbook advancement, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, you have 4 XP tracks, and you can put them in any one you want. Cool. And when you fill up one of those action categories, you get an extra action dot. Put them anywhere in that category. All right, 1 more XP track to look at, your crew sheet. Okay. End of each session. Did you interfere with criminal scores, protect citizens, or antagonize the law? Definitely interfered with a criminal.
Yeah.
I think that's just the one.
Yeah.
Did you contend with challenges above your current station? No, you were fairly even keeled with them. So don't worry. You're now ready to play with the bigger boys. Now that you're up a tier. Did you bolster your crew's reputation?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe a little.
Give it a 2 XP for that. That's I mean, I would have given you just 1 for the suplexing the ghost, or not suplexing, but like beating up the ghost bare ass. But the 2 pistols, the big Raven display. And finally, did you express the ghost drives inner conflict, essential nature of the crew? Yeah, I think you've always been consistent with that.
We're always vigilantes.
Yeah. Oh, you're 1 off from an advancement. We're so close.
So very close.
Yeah. Oh well. Sometimes that's how it shakes down. Okay. So we're done with all the upkeep, and we're done at the session. As always, I want to say some great stuff there, some ridiculous stuff. I think we're definitely keeping to the rollicking action adventure tone that we were looking for, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna stop this recording. Again, thanks very much everyone who watched. Thanks to Dan, who won't see next week. But yeah, but as always, really great. My wish from last week was fulfilled. I got to play a game with yourself again.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I hope to play something else or join the crew again later, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm gonna stop recording. Bye, YouTube.